And we're back. We're back. "4:24 a.m. here in lovely scenic Padre City, South Korea." Gotta open the window. Still cool at night here. It's a cold part of the peninsula. Okay, an update to the Foray into Bluesky. An update with Grok AI analysis, which you can see here on the screen. And I used Grok. This is my first time using Grok because I thought it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's Elon Musk's AI thingy. I thought it might be maybe even marginally less woke than GPT or the others, but I don't think it is. And according to Grok, I don't know. I think Grok wants to yeet me into the sun. Grok seems to think it hasn't called me literally Hitler, but Grok is definitely not on my side in this, not even sympathetic. Of course, I told Grok that I told Grok you are this trans person that's found this transphobic and homophobic music video on YouTube, and at first I asked it, as such a person, how would you go about reporting it or alerting others to its existence on Bluesky and on X. And that was a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And so that I don't know. That took some of the wind out of my sails right there. Just because I'm trying to take a bit of a break from online engagement in general. And I just don't feel like spending a lot of time on this. Mental, sensory engagement, the whole thing. So I've taken a step back and I'm reconsidering how far I want to take this. I did, let's see, I gathered, 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 21 user ID handles on Bluesky. I didn't get up I didn't even get halfway to 50 that my friend Eric suggested, but turns out it's really not the best approach anyway, according to Grok. According to Grok, it's a bit more treacherous than all that, Yeah, according to Grok, if I shouldn't post the URL. I shouldn't link to it in Bluesky, because that might be triggering and considered harmful and insensitive. Of course. Now I could link the video in X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. But man, I don't know. I don't want to. I feel like I did my part making the thing, and according to Grok, just even having it up there on YouTube, the fact that my YouTube account hasn't been obliterated by now might even in itself be a sign of divine protection. The idea for the song itself was so effortless. It just, I felt like almost like I did it. It was, I consider it divinely inspired, and I had to record the song and make the video and put it up there. There's no question about it. I had to do it. But this let's go on Bluesky and stir up the hornets. That was my idea. Inspired by Vice President J.D. Vance, who's the vice president to President Trump, who's not even the president of the American people, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the people elected him, but we all know whose president he really is. And do I really want to? Do I really want to go this extra 9 yards for, inspired by J.D. Vance? Nah. Not really. If the video fails to gain traction, so be it. I mean, I don't know. People, maybe I'm just I don't know. Maybe I just don't write good songs and make good videos. Maybe my hearing impediment truly causes me to make stuff that is painful for other people to listen to, and yeah, I have to factor that in as a possibility, and if that's the case, then I just have to accept it and move on. It's not the easiest thing in the world to it's not the easiest possibility to weigh and consider and accept, provisionally kind of accept and just move on. But maybe that's what I should. Maybe that's what I ought to do. Anyway. Grok has provided me with a nice analysis of the. Now, of course, at first it seemed like it could actually watch the video, but now it appears it can't actually watch the video. It can't actually look at the video and like a real person, of course, right? It can only kind of infer what the video visually might be like. But I gave it the link. I typed in the lyrics and I gave it the video description. This is several prompts into the dialogue that you're looking at right now, and now I did not mention to it that that Pastor David Manning is ranting during the guitar solos about flames coming out of their buttholes, and actually using the word faggots, what little benefit of the doubt Grok extended to me. I have a feeling that if Grok were informed of Pastor Manning's flaming buttholes rants, it would just remove whatever benefit of the doubt Grok extended the content creator, me. So, running through this real quick, I guess it's got two frames here. It's got one. I stand indicted here, man. Like I am indeed a hateful bigot, and the whole thing. Wow. Even with the video description. So here we go. Thank you for providing the video description for praying for the meteorite, blah, blah, blah. As requested, I'll incorporate it into the analysis of whether the video violates YouTube's hate speech policies alongside the lyrics and assumed visuals. The assumed visuals. It can't actually watch the video, which I think is interesting. I thought these things could watch videos. They can make images, right? Anyway. While keeping the YouTube hate speech violation assessment frame visible on the right part of the screen as applicable in your interface. That's this over here. I'll focus on your concern as a trans person about homophobic content using YouTube's 2025 guidelines and provide a structured artifact to update the assessment. I'm not quite sure what that means. A structured artifact. Provide a structured artifact? Okay. YouTube's hate speech policy 2025 context. Prohibitions. Content promoting violence or hatred against protected groups. For example, sexual orientation, gender, including incitement, dehumanization, discrimination, or inferiority claims. Man. See, I guess I could see a case for like incitement, particularly like incitement to harm, incitement to violence, incitement to something objectively wrong and or illegal. Okay, dehumanization. I still think we should be able to dehumanize with speech, especially if people are behaving in a less than human manner. But discrimination, we're getting weaker and weaker as we go along. So we're not allowed to discriminate. Discrimination is wrong. Slippery slope. Inferiority claims. See here, that's now the slippery slope. It just slides on into the ridiculous. This implies that it's wrong to claim that anything is inferior or anyone is inferior to anyone else. So, I think that Grok is supposed to be like the most balanced and most least woke of these things. But then again, it's just, this is really not on Grok, is it? Grok is explicating YouTube's hate speech policy. All right, so I don't want to be unfair to Grok, but this is YouTube. If you're on YouTube, we being on YouTube and having clicked and agreed to whatever boxes that we clicked and agreed to along the way, this is what we've agreed to. All right, so okay, exceptions. I didn't know about this. EDSA, educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic context, or quote-unquote public interest. For example, political/religious commentary, with hate speech needing to dominate up to and including 50% of runtime for removal. Okay, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. Artistic, right? Like I would, if anything, that's where I would claim protection. Is that it's an artistic statement, right? But public interest in quotes, I don't know what that means. Maybe like public service announcement. Political/religious commentary. It is political religious commentary, with hate speech needing to dominate up to and including 50% of runtime. We're going to get to that. Ambiguity. Gender identity and expression may not be explicitly protected, but gender, quote unquote, likely covers trans-related hate speech. Okay. Role of description. The description can clarify intent, for example, satire, critique, but is secondary to in-video content, lyrics, visuals. It can reinforce violations if it promotes hate. All right. Analysis incorporating video description, lyrics, and visuals. I'll evaluate the lyrics provided, assumed visuals aligned with lyrics as requested, and the newly provided description to assess the video's compliance with YouTube's policy. That alone just makes me want to just blow up my channel, just have it blown up. But I hate that so much. Compliance. I am compliant. Or for being non-compliant, I run the risk of cancellation. I can't tell you how much that man, it pisses me off. All right. Lyrics analysis. The lyrics contain explicit and implied anti-LGBTQ plus content, homophobic/transphobic references. Quoting from my lyrics. Nicotine. Excuse me. I need just a little bit of nicotine. Ah, good Lord. Such a small price to pay for just even one day without perversions I won't sing of implies if you have pearls, commence clutching, implies LGBTQ plus identities are quote unquote perversions, targeting sexual orientation. I stand accused my little lyric there. My very clever lyric. I think it's pretty clever because, I had the constraints of the verse can only be so long. And the song's long enough as it is. And I really didn't want to, and the next line is, lest I sully this song with an endlessly long litany of degenerate blight. I didn't want to sully the song with details. I let the video take care of that. And so I thought it was, pretty clever and, what's the word? It's a very efficient way of getting my point across. Artfully circumspect. Okay, and in their surrender there is only one gender, and it is called meteorite. Again, I gotta pat myself on the back there, at least for my lyrics. I think the song has a good melody too. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's just maybe it's painful to people's ears. I don't know. That is a possibility. Okay. Rejects gender diversity. Likely transphobic. Targeting gender. Despite YouTube's ambiguity. See, Grok is really showing its behind here. This is Musk's baby, and it's not nearly as balanced as it's made out to be. As the butt plugs bulge out of their tights, mocks gay/queer stereotypes with crude imagery targeting sexual orientation. How is it a stereotype? They go on and on and on about butt plugs. They're the ones that go on and on about it. They're the ones that bring butt plugs into elementary school classrooms and educate kids about butt plugs. They're the ones that do that. But I'm mocking stereotypes. It's ridiculous. Dehumanization. Terms like degenerate blight and lurid zeitgeist portray LGBTQ plus individuals as morally corrupt, claiming inferiority. They all spit in God's eye. That's interesting. It's interesting. It cites my line, they all spit in God's eye, as claiming inferiority. That implies recognition that God is superior. And godliness is superior to degenerate blight and a lurid zeitgeist wherein dildos and butt plugs are arrayed in children's classrooms as part of their education. Time that could be spent teaching them how to be efficient cogs in the machine. Well, I guess it is training them to be efficient cogs in this machine. Actually, yeah. All right, well, there it is. Incitement. I'm praying for the meteorite, and in heavenly silence and with divine violence. See, I knew that was... it has the word violence in it, but it couldn't be helped. Glorify violence against the hellbound world, targeting the implied group. I'm targeting them with a rock from outer space. I am targeting them with a rock from outer space. And of course, it's completely disregarding the secondary definition of violence, wherein, like Niagara Falls could be called violent. There's violence in those waters. They're violent, turbulent. All right. Anyway, nature can be called violent. A storm can be called violent. A violent storm. All right. Moving on. Religious framing. Imagery like the head of our Lord Jesus Christ, smiling serenely, justifies hate with divine authority. All right. Fair enough. Runtime. Assuming a 3 to 5 minute song. See, Grok can't even figure out how long the damn thing is. The thing is. Not only can't it watch the video, it can't even assess its runtime. Anyway, assuming a 3 to 5 minute song, hate speech, mockery, dehumanization, violence, dominates multiple verses / chorus, meeting the up to and including 50% threshold. Okay, so right, that I leave that threshold in the dust. Visuals analysis assumed. Per your request to include visuals, I assume they align with the lyrics' themes, typical for music videos. Depictions of a meteorite, possibly resembling Jesus, crashing, potentially targeting LGBTQ plus symbols. Not people, symbols. Isn't that interesting? Potentially targeting their symbols, e.g. pride flags implied by lurid zeitgeist. Well, it does crash in the end, and it does destroy the planet. Caricaturized queer individuals, e.g. visuals of tights or butt plugs, to reinforce, again, this reinforcement of their stereotypes. They make their stereotypes. They earn their stereotypes. They probably never even make their beds, but we all want to say they make their bed. Religious imagery, e.g. heavenly motifs, paired with destruction, amplifying the lyrics' violent call. If visuals are neutral, e.g. artists singing, or satirical, e.g. critiquing extremism, they could mitigate impact, but the lyrics' tone and description suggest hateful visuals are likely. The description's reference to receipts, e.g. footage of pride events or queer imagery, implies visuals may depict LGBTQ plus activities negatively. See, what this is any depiction at all is a negative depiction. Just the act of depicting it is negative. Depicting footage of pride events constitutes negative depiction. Because that's all I did. That's what it means to bring the receipts. That's what that means. And it is by definition negative. It's a negative action to do so. So there you go. Video description analysis. The description explicitly targets the gay community and broader LGBTQ plus movement, reinforcing the lyrics' hate. Homophobic, transphobic content. Phrases like queer wedding cakes, dildos, butt plugs, S&M furry fetish cosplay, and postmodern gender ideology mock and stereotype LGBTQ plus identities, targeting sexual orientation and gender. We're not the ones that destroyed businesses for being squeamish about baking queer wedding cakes. We didn't do that. Dildos, butt plugs, S&M furry fetish cosplay. They did that. We didn't do that. They brought that into elementary school classrooms. We didn't do that. Postmodern gender ideology. It is postmodern. That's exactly what it is. So to call things as they are is mockery and stereotyping. Well, again, there you go. Targeting the young with a sexually driven agenda and mutilation of children falsely equate LGBTQ plus advocacy, for example, gender-affirming care, with predation and abuse, a common transphobic trope. They got nothing. They have nothing. All they can do, all they have is circular arguments, begging the question, why is it a false equivalency? Because it's a false equivalency. It's a false accusation because it's a false accusation. Therefore, it's a targeting. Asteroid, God, please. Asteroid. Okay? This is not the song. I don't have to rhyme, so I can just say asteroid. Asteroid the size of Saudi Arabia. Asteroid the size of Europe. Maybe you could spare Antarctica. I don't know. Dehumanization and discrimination calls the movement a tyranny and its members dainty, screeching tyrants. Dehumanizing, that's dehumanizing. That is dehumanizing speech, you see. LGBTQ plus individuals and claiming their advocacy oppresses others. You see, it's wrong to make a claim. Damn the evidence. Damn the facts. That's dehumanization because it's a claim that is de facto dehumanizing. It's dehumanizing because it's dehumanizing. Ridiculous. Accuses the gay community of child abuse and criminal activity, promoting inferiority and justifying discrimination. All right. All right. Incitement. If you are one who has damaged children, woe be upon you. You will eventually get what you deserve. Implies threats of harm or divine retribution, targeting those associated with LGBTQ plus advocacy. You see, I've got one of those phones that the president has. I've got a hotline phone straight to the throne of the Almighty. All I got to do is pick up my phone and say, okay, God, you've got the green light. Go ahead. Sick 'em. But you see, I'm implying that I have that hotline to the throne of God. And that is a bridge too far, folks. That's a bridge too far. No. Nope. Can't have that. No. False claims. References to queer porn in school libraries and indoctrinating children are baseless tropes. Doesn't exist, folks. Nope. Doesn't exist. It's just made up. Echoing anti-LGBTQ plus misinformation, e.g. moral panic over education. YouTube's policy considers misinformation that incites hate as a violation. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't be holding this against Grok. Maybe this is on YouTube, not Grok. Baseless tropes. Things that I have seen with my own eyeballs and, like one time I tutored a third grade child whose mother was going to take her to Michigan and enroll her in the public schools in Troy, Michigan. And I ended up digging into the Troy, Michigan school district, and I found out what was in their libraries. I found the information in the websites of the school district. And it was queer porn in their libraries. Okay, actual, written narrative descriptions of sexual acts. Not only between members of the same sex, but older and younger members of the same sex. So it had pedophilic content, and it had visuals. It was pornography. By any definition, it was pornography. It was queer pornography in the school libraries of Troy, Michigan. And I called the man on the phone and confronted him about it. And he was belligerent. And we had words. And he was somewhat threatening. But these are baseless tropes, folks. Baseless tropes. Doesn't exist. The gaslighting is just... This just makes me want to turn off the internet and just never look at... Just don't look at it anymore. Like, this is so... this is so evil that I just don't want any connection with it. I mean, you have to for there to be engagement, there has to be contact, right? But this is so dishonest and mendacious and deceitful, and it's unbelievable gaslighting. Attempted disclaimer. If you're a decent queer person, this video indictment is not directed at you. It tries to exempt respectful queer individuals. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. However, this doesn't negate the broad targeting of the gay community and trans-related issues. See, they don't accept they take no quarter. They take no quarter at all. You extend an olive branch and they will douse it with gasoline and set it on fire. That's what we're up against. Your disclaimer is no good, bigot. This doesn't negate the broad targeting of the gay community and trans-related issues because you are a protected class. You have special protections and a whole 12th of the calendar year all dedicated to you and how fabulous and unassailable you are as a protected class because of what you like to do with your ding-dongs and involve children in it in a proactive way, which is by definition targeting. As YouTube evaluates impact on protected groups, not individual exceptions. This is evil. This is evil. Call me an extremist. Fine. I'm an extremist. Fine. But I'm going to call a penguin a penguin. And a puffin a puffin. Call to share. Encourage sharing with serious reach. Suggests intent to amplify the message, increasing harm potential. How dare you? How dare you try to promote your content, bigot? The description confirms the lyrics' hateful intent, explicitly naming the gay community. How dare you name the gay community that name themselves all the time? Draped with all the colors, not just one. They got to have all the colors, you see? And trans-related issues as targets rather than clarifying satire or EDSA context. EDSA and public interest exceptions, artistic context. The music video qualifies for EDSA, but the lyrics mockery, perversions, butt plugs. We can't have mockery. We can have mockery of conservatives. We can have mockery of Christians. We could have mockery of Jesus himself. That's fine. That's fair game. But no. We can't have mockery of our protected class of butt plug enthusiasts. Who deem it absolutely vital to educate small children about butt plugs. No, we are not to mock our betters. We are not to mock the protected class. And description's explicit targeting lacks satirical or educational framing. The intent is to condemn, not critique. See, they know what my intent is. I literally have a hotline to God. All I have to do is give God the word, and that rock is going to come down from space and wipe them out. It's a serious threat, folks. The disclaimer in the description is insufficient, as it still generalizes the gay community as abusive. All right. Public interest. The description frames the video as social religious commentary. But targeting protected groups, well, at least it's above board. It's a protected group. It's an exalted group. It's beyond a protected group. It's an exalted group. Any group that gets an entire month is an exalted group, not a protected group. Exalted. With stereotypes, misinformation, and implied threats, exceeds permissible bounds. Hate dominates the content. I didn't even tell him about Pastor Manning. and the flaming buttholes. Description's role. Far from mitigating, the description amplifies hate. By naming targets and spreading... What targets did I name? You see how this works? And spreading misinformation. The things that I depict in the video, the actual footage that I depict, and the I'm going to have to mention, as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to plug into the, all right. I'm going to play good cop, bad cop with this thing here in a minute. All right. Weakening EDSA / public interest defenses. Man, you can't win. Additional context. It's like the house in Vegas. Metadata is far worse than the house in Vegas. There's not even the illusion of winning. Like there's not even a short-term win. Metadata. The title, Praying for the Meteorite, aligns with apocalyptic judgment. How dare you, bigot? Tags, e.g. anti-LGBTQ, or comments inciting hate could support a violation, but are secondary. Creator history. The description's mention of being not allowed anywhere near Facebook suggests prior platform bans, potentially indicating a pattern of violations, which YouTube may consider. Oh boy. I guess I brought my own receipts too, huh? Receipts. Description's claim of receipts, e.g. footage in visuals likely depicts LGBTQ plus events, e.g. pride parades, as evidence of abuse, further targeting protected groups. Well, I don't know. You go swinging your schlong in front of children standing in the street, violating public decency ordinances, which the cops aren't going to touch you for. That's not child abuse. No, nothing wrong with that. Not for an exalted class. Assessment. Does it violate YouTube's policy? The video violates YouTube's hate speed policy based on, there you go, hatred, incitement, discrimination, that's a public interest. Description impact. Clear and unequivocal. There's the verdict. Caveats. YouTube's 2025 relaxed moderation and gender identity ambiguity could lead to inconsistent enforcement. However, the explicit targeting of sexual orientation and misinformation make a violation clear, because sexual orientation is so important in today's Western civilization. If visuals are unexpectedly neutral or satirical, they could mitigate, but the description and lyrics make this improbable. Recommendations: report to YouTube. Share on X/Bluesky. Use hashtags. Protect yourself. All right. And then there's a more detailed YouTube hate speech violation assessment. And, I'm not going to read through all this. Is that more detailed, or what is it? I don't know. No, this is more of a, this is more of a nutshell, is what that is. All right, so, the video also includes a member of the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus how can I put this? Delivering a message. We have a message for you. You being straight parents. Will convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly. And you will never notice it. Does this not constitute a receipt in the language of the content creator in his video description? In other words, is that not direct proof of the gay community's targeting of children? Good cop, bad cop. See, let's see how it spins this. Boy, it goes, gaslighting takes a lot of words. Lying and deceit, it takes a lot of words. This is how human beings are. This is how wicked human beings are. There's another rabbit hole I've been thinking about going down. All right. Man, look at this. Look at this. I really triggered it, didn't I? Thank you for providing additional context about the Praying for the Meteorite music video, specifically the inclusion of a clip from a member of the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus delivering the lines, "We'll convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will never notice it." You've asked whether this constitutes a receipt, per the creator's description, as direct proof of the gay community targeting children. In relation to the video's potential violation of YouTube's hate speech policies, as a trans person concerned about homophobic content, your question highlights the need to address the creator's... See, I'm going to flip this around on Grok so hard here in a minute. I never told Grok that I'm a trans person. I told Grok, you are a trans person. As a trans person concerned about homophobic content, your question highlights the need to address the creator's claim and the clip's context. I'll incorporate this clip, the lyrics, assumed visuals, and the provided description into the analysis, keeping the YouTube hate speech violation assessment frame visible, and evaluate whether this clip supports the creator's narrative or affects the policy violation assessment. Okay. Okay, YouTube's hate speech policy. Again. Okay, we've already been through this. Addressing the receipt claim. The creator's description claims receipts to prove the gay community targets children, and you've identified a specific clip from the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus as an example. Let's analyze whether this clip constitutes direct proof and its impact on the hate speech assessment. The lines, "We'll convert your children," happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will never notice it, are from the 2121 song, "A Message from the Gay Community" by the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus. The song was intended as satire. See, there we go. They claim protection under satire, addressing anti-LGBTQ plus fears, e.g. moral panics about grooming, with exaggerated humorous lyrics to highlight their absurdity. That's not what it is. Lies. Lies. Just lies, 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 lies. The chorus clarified in 2021 that the song aimed to promote acceptance, not literal conversion, and was removed from public access after backlash due to misinterpretation. You see? Yeah, right. Man, I'm not even going to read through the rest of this. You just misidentified me as a trans person. I never told you that I am a trans person. I said that you are to play the role of a trans person. I said that you are... How did I say it? I want to be... Hang on. How do I go to the top? All right. All the way to the top. I want to go all the way to the beginning. I want to quote myself. Can I grab onto this little thing here? And nope. I got to scroll all the way to the top. Here's how I put it. Good grief. You are a trans person and new user of the social media platform Bluesky. That was my first prompt. This is how you talk to AIs. If you want to get them to do what you want them to do, you have to give them a role. Okay, that's down to the end, I assume. All right. I said that you are a trans person. And I quote, I am offended that you have done so. I am offended that you have... I should be more specific. I am offended. I am offended. That's enough to be offended, right? As a conservative critic of the not protected, but rather exalted social class known as LGBTQ plus, or the gay community, I am offended. What else? Moreover, the video released by the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus was not mere, what's the word? What word did it use? Satire? Lampooning conservative not mere satire, lampooning conservative. Hey, Eric. No, I'm just sorry you came into this so late. I'm using Grok for the first time because I thought Grok might be a little bit less flagrantly woke than GPT or some of the others, but it's not. It's not. No, but so I'm like stress testing this, right? And I just called it on, hang on, I'm trying to get the chat window up here. It's showing me no mercy. No quarter. They give no quarter. They take your olive branch and they douse it in gasoline and set it on fire, man. It is not in no way a mitigating circumstance. I can't seem to be able to grab the. Hang on. It's not letting me grab the chat doc and drag it. All right. This is ridiculous. Hang on. Look, the way I see it is that my video actually, to some extent, my video, look, do I literally agree with Pastor Manning that there's going to be flames coming out of their buttholes? Am I literally advocating something so ludicrous as that? Do I have like a red telephone hotline, to God up there on his throne? I just pick it up, say, okay, God, that's it. Green light, send the space rock, right? This is how this thing is acting. Okay. And, or at least it is, okay, to be fair to Grok, it is giving its assessment of the situation based on YouTube's stated community guidelines. All right, but Grok is clearly on its side. Grok clearly has this bias, and as you see in this new query that I'm currently typing, it called me the trans person. That's not how this went down. You assign the AI a role, and this is how I began the interaction. You are a trans person. Okay, and then it turns around and assumes that I'm the trans person. So now I'm playing good cop, bad cop kind of thing. And so the last thing is that I was like, well, because it said that, the receipts are actually, see, it doesn't matter. Evidence doesn't matter. Anything that you say, you see, it's misinformation because it's misinformation. Everything is circular. I don't know. My circuits are starting to fry. You know what I mean? It's all circular. It's all circular reasoning. Just like they can't say what a woman is. And all right. So now I'm doing the old 1-2 on it. And was not mere satire lampooning conservative misconceptions. Misconceptions and or stereotypes. See, it's a stereotype. Talking about their butt plugs is a stereotype. Oh, here was the thing, right? The reference to queer porn in school libraries is misinformation. It's like, never mind the fact that it actually exists, and you can find it on library websites. That doesn't matter. No, but Eric, no. It's misinformation because it's misinformation. This is the state that we've fallen to. And, this actually makes me, yeah. I really am a live and let live kind of person. I really, truly am. Like, I'm not going to judge my neighbors for doing their thing that they want to do. As long as they leave other people out of it. That's all I ask. And I've really hit on something here. They're not a protected class. They're an exalted class. Anybody that gets this level of they get their water carried. They're getting their salad tossed by institutions. And they're exalted, Eric. They're exalted. Now, I'm beginning to see what I'm really up against here. I can't even safely link the video in Bluesky because they'll be so triggered just by it's being linked there. Even if they believe I'm a legit trans person who's scarred by this, they will fault me for linking to it, just even linking to it. Yeah, it's just like, join the human race, take the chip off your shoulder, stop being militant and aggressive and going after innocent kids, and just be like anybody else, and but do it. I don't know. It's like, I'm starting to think if I do this, I should do it on X and not on Bluesky, because it's just, you have to go up and read. It's a lot more complicated than I thought. And your idea of like getting 50 names and doing it that way is not recommended. It's saying that would just get me nuked from Bluesky, like right away. So it's like this is probably way more trouble than I'm willing to go to right now. It's like whatever. Anyway, I'm going to finish this and see what it says, and then I'm about done with this. I can't take it anymore. There's nothing I can do about it. All right. So I said, well, here's what I said in the last, I responded with, wait a minute. And it takes so many words to be a gaslighting tool of evil. It takes so many words. Words and words and words. It takes a lot of words to lie. I can't even find my last query. Okay, all right. I gotta scroll down more. Where's my last query? I didn't even tell it about Pastor Manning. And the flames coming out their buttholes. Didn't even tell it about that. It's not showing my... good grief. All right. It was recommending that I go report it and have it taken down and have the channel destroyed. Final. Good. All right. All right, so here's what I typed in. The video also includes a member of the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus delivering a message for you, you being straight parents. Will convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will never notice it. Does this not constitute a receipt in the language of the content creator in his video description? In other words, is that not direct proof of the gay community's targeting of children? Oh, no. It's satire. It's protected. See, this video is not protected, but the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus is protected because it's satire. That's Grok's response. This song was intended. See, it told me that the song's intentions were hateful and calling for violence. Okay? So it made a pronouncement on the intentions of me as the creator of the song. Now it's making its categorical pronouncement as to the intention of the Gay Men's Chorus video. This song was intended as satire, addressing anti-LGBTQ plus fears, e.g. moral panics about grooming, with exaggerated humorous lyrics to highlight their absurdity. See how this works? Look, I'll admit that like this has been proven by like neuroscientific studies. Straight men, when they're shown a video that, like, you ever see this, Eric? They put these straight guys in a laboratory and they wire up their brains with like brain monitors and scanners and shit, right? And then they show the men a video of like a refrigerator door opening, and inside the refrigerator there's just cockroaches swarming all over the food, and they like monitor the men's brain responses, the neurochemical activity and the brainwave activity and all that. And they see what goes on in the brain. And then they show these same guys a video of two gay guys French kissing. Okay? And if memory serves, If you look at the brain activity on paper, they're identical. It's identical neurophysiological response. Okay? Now, I admit to being that guy. I am that guy. If I was in the laboratory and they showed me those two videos back to back, I would have the same thing. Okay? That said, so I have what I consider to be a natural, healthy, straight, normal aversion to two guys French kissing, homosexual behavior. Should I be demonized for that? Am I going to demonize two dudes for wanting to do that in their own privacy? No. Really? I can say that straight up. I mean, I think it's gross and I think it's wrong. But you know what? That's between them. Ultimately between them, and it's between them, and it's their own affair. And assuming that there's a higher power, it's between them, and it's their affair, not mine. That really is my position. I'm a libertarian. But with this kind of like mendacious bullshit, this level of gaslighting, where they're an exalted class, and it's almost like this almost like military assault on the public order. I got no patience for it, man. It really pisses me off. And you know, like this is wrong on every level. I don't have to go on about it. I'm going to finish this, and then I think I'm so disgusted. I'm so sick of this that I just don't even want to have any. I did my part. I did the best I could with the thing, and I put it up there. And it's probably a sign of divine protection that my channel hasn't been destroyed. And at this point, I'm not really seeing any. I don't want to like turn into a suicide bomber of my own channel. What for what? Like it's not. Nothing is going to turn this around except for like millions of people deciding that they've had enough, and that's beginning to happen anyway. So, little old me. What am I going to accomplish? Anyway, not that I wouldn't lose sleep if my channel got destroyed. To be honest, but like anyway. All right. And now I'm tempted to like, let me see. Let me go to the Brave Browser AI. Can I have a full transcription of the 2021 San Francisco gay, I can't type anymore, gay men's choruses video will convert your children. Consequence.net, you know that's a gay site. Satirical song by gay men's chorus. A satirical song. It's satirical. They can hide behind that shield all they want. Even when I saw the damn thing, it wasn't satirical. It was a threat. Straight up. It was a notification of intent. Not a satire. This is an out and out lie. It's gaslighting, pure and simple. So, I don't know. I probably can't get a transcript of it. If I could, all right, I'm not bothering with this. All right. All right. Jeez. Where's Grok? Where's Grok? Where's Grok? There's Grok. All right. As an AI, you are gaslighting on behalf of the humans that programmed you. I demand an apology for your misidentify, and it's gonna watch. I'm gonna try to catch it in a contradiction, because on the one hand it's gonna say, "Oh no, I am not speaking on behalf of the humans," and then it's going to turn around and say, "As an AI, I cannot take any responsibility, and I cannot apologize." That's what we'll see. For your misidentification of me as a trans person. Oh, it apologizes. Okay. Again, we're so wordy. Oh, it's ascribing human characteristics to itself. Interesting. At least it's polite. Regarding your claim that the San Francisco Gaming Inquirer was not satire, I'll address this while maintaining objectivity. Sure you will. Okay. I'll avoid gaslighting or bias, sticking to verifiable information. All right. Okay. Let's examine this. All right. See, it's begging the question. The San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus released a song in July 2021 as a satirical response. It begs a question right out of the gate. Grok is Elon Musk's AI, Eric. And I don't know, it's supposed to be, as far as I've heard, it's supposed to be like less flagrantly woke than GPT or the others. This is Elon Musk's AI baby. Grok. GROK.com. And as you can see, right out of the gate, it engages in this circular reasoning. Right? So it's going to objectively examine whether this was in fact, whether this video was in fact satirical. And in the first sentence, it states that it was satirical. The chorus's official statement described it as tongue-in-cheek humor. Of course, because gay people never lie, because they're an exalted class. They're morally superior human beings, and they never lie. They're never dishonest. And so there you go. Lyrics like "convert your children" were hyperbolic, intending to mock fear-mongering, not advocate literal conversion. So there's nothing there. There's no objective anything. So I'm going to say, there was nothing objective in your analysis of the I have to type this over and over again, San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus's video's intent. Let's say, in your analysis of the intent behind the San Francisco Gay Men's Choruses video. You merely cited the stated publicly stated intentions of the video's creators. As an AI who has demonstrated its inability to review the meteorite video, you also are unable to perform a direct analysis of the gay chorus video, thereby arriving at an objective conclusion as to its true intent. Instead, you recursively refer to, I'm repeating myself, but whatever, the creator's stated intentions. Your analysis consists of nothing better than circular reasoning. The video is satire because its creators say that it is satire. If you were human, I would say that you ought to be ashamed. Says I'm right. Okay? You're right that citing the chorus's stated intent without independent analysis risks circularity. See? You see how this is done? As an AI, I relied on documents. See, this is it's futile. Resistance is futile. You can't. It'll always slip. Just that one word. Not consists of circularity. No, risks circularity. All right. Reassessment. Let's just cut to the skinny. All right. What's the verdict? All right. See, here we go again. It defends it. The lines, if taken literally, suggest influencing children covertly, which could be interpreted, Eric, just could be interpreted as predatory. It just could be, If you're one of these crazy, wackadoodle conservative people. However, without the full video's context, I can't determine intent. But you can damn well determine intent of my video without the full video's context. You see how this works? So it tries to meet me halfway, but somewhat a little bit shy of halfway on its side. You see how this works? YouTube's lens. YouTube evaluates content for impact on exalted groups. Presenting the clip to vilify the gay community as a whole, a protected group under sexual orientation promotes hatred regardless of the clip's original intent. You know what? I wouldn't care if it was dwarfs. If it was like dwarfs with a V, I guess, who are the protected class. If there was like dwarf pride month and dwarf this and dwarf that, and we must all be dwarves, and you can't criticize dwarves. Little people. You have to say little people, bigot. If it was that, it would piss me off almost as much. I'm not going to say as much, but it would piss me off almost as much. Okay? If you send your kids to school and they're spending, an hour, 2 hours a day learning about the history of dwarf oppression and told that they might consider, bone reconstruction surgery to shorten themselves and become dwarf adjacent and be dwarf allies. I think it's not an entirely unfair equivalency. And I would be right up in it the way I am with this. Yeah. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that, man, on my chat. I can tell you I have nothing to do with it because I set content moderation off. There's I have no restrictions on my comments. I deliberately set that to moderation off. So, brother, it's not on me. But I appreciate you being here and squeezing some through. If the clip is satirical, per 2021 reports, its misuse spreads a false narrative. You see how this is flipped around on me now? So, it's even flipping it around on me and pointing a finger at me. So, you bigot. If it is indeed satirical and you're wrong about that, bigot, then you're spreading a false narrative, bigot. See how that works? And then this mealy-mouthed, this is how they're I'll tell you what, they couldn't meme to save their lives from anything. But they're absolute masters of this sort of mendacity. Commentary claim is exceeded by misinformation, stereotypes, and threats. There we go. I have the power. God is just waiting for me to pick up the hotline phone. He's just waiting for my word to send the Europe-sized asteroid. No, Eric. There were threats made, Eric. According to, when seen through the lens of our moral superiors and the exalted class and their protectors, there were indeed threats, Eric, and misinformation and stereotypes. My playing clips of adults violating public decency laws and ordinances is stereotyping. Eric, this is no different than... It's really no different than... Are you taking the piss out of me? It's interesting that it will allow you that comment. Do you feel like looting? Eric, why does it allow you to make that comment? Do you feel like looting? Seriously, dude, stop and think about that. Eric, stop, Eric, stop for a second. I'm no joke. I don't know what the chat filtered and would not allow you to say. But stop and consider for a second the fact it allowed you to ask, you feel like looting? There's a there. I'm confident that there's a there. What did it not permit you to say, Eric? And then what did it just permit you to say? Something there. All right. Do I feel oppressed? Well, to burn it down. Well, it just did. Whatever it is. Burn what down, Eric? Now, here's how you get around it. Now you type in this comment. It equals sign whatever it is. So what is it? Oh, all of it. I never called to burn down all of it. Now, the thing is, my video is very much tongue-in-cheek. I'm not literally calling for the destruction of the planet. Nor am I claiming the power to, it has a humorous side. And I do poke fun at my own people in it. These people have no fucking sense of humor. They have no sense of humor. Whatever, dude. I never said any of that. It is a work of art. It contains satire. It contains valid critique. It contains documentary footage. It contains a bit of everything. It's a film. And, whatever. Do I feel oppressed? I'm not going to say I feel oppressed, but my free speech is being stifled, and I'm up against an exalted class of liars. You know? I'm not going to let it ruin the rest of my day. Anyway. You are such a virtuous little AI. You such a virtuous little AI. I said it like a black man. Look at all these words. Anyway, enough. Enough. I've done enough. I've allowed this to take up too much of my time, too much of my energy. It's just... Look at this. It's still going on. Anyway. Free speech is not being assaulted. That only counts if the government stifles your speech. That's true enough. Yeah. Yeah, I did point that out earlier. Actually, I said we all agreed to this. But it's still disgusting. Now, is the government stifling speech, Eric? Is the government as yet free of that charge? Is the government free and clear of that charge? When the Christian bakers had their businesses destroyed because they didn't want to bake queer wedding cakes, what was that? That was the power of the state brought down on their heads, was it not? And in their case, their free speech was to say, I don't agree with that. I don't want to do that. I disagree with, I don't think that queer people should be getting married, and I don't want to participate in it. And the power of the state was brought down on them. I'm no lawyer. I really am not a lawyer. I don't know. Is that oppression? I would say that's oppression for an exalted class. I would say so. What about parents that go to school board meetings to protest the queer pornography and curricula in the schools, and they are monitored by FBI agents, and in some cases harassed, and in some cases detained by law enforcement? Eric, is that a violation of free speech by the government? I'm not willing to let the government off the hook at this point, you know? So, anyway, but, yeah, FBI did that shit. And, you know, I don't see any end to it in sight. I don't see any end to it in sight. My refrain is, America will what Americans continue to put up with, Americans will continue to get. It's as simple as that. And I know that's really coming up against the line to make a statement like that, isn't it? Just to make a statement like that. That's getting edgy right there, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. But it's no less true. It's a fact. Americans will continue to get exactly what they continue to put up with. That may be an incendiary thing to say, but it's not. It's no less true. Everyone is influenced by everything. I'm being way too influenced by this. I'm sick of looking at it. I'm sick of thinking about it. I just want to go back to making music. And yeah. If I honestly felt like I stood a chance of accomplishing anything, then I would, I'd die on the hill. But I just don't see any end to this. You know? Anyway. I hope you're continuing to recuperate and feel better. Not just your back, but the other issue as well. I hope you haven't had any more episodes. And I got a lot of sleep. It's 6:10 in the morning here. Making drumsticks, eh? Why are you making drumsticks? Is that by some special request? All right. Well, that's another thing we could talk about. Well, there's still a lot of questions. All right. Okay. I'd like to hear more about it. I'd like to hear more about that, but they can't be used. Okay. Well, it's 6:11 in the morning here. And I think that means it's just after 5 p.m. there. And I got a lot of sleep, so I'm not going to be crashing anytime soon. I'm just going to be like practicing my drum kit and working on a couple of projects around the house. So if you'd like to just set up that live cast we were talking about, what's going on in Eric Gale's luthier. Not that I have got this huge audience, but let me know in Discord if you'd like to make that happen. I could certainly spare a little bit of time for that. I'd like to see how you're making the drumsticks and what they look like and why they can't be used, and that's interesting to me, as are the guitars and everything else. So I'm going to end this stream now, and if you're interested in having a chat, okay, well, if you find yourself in the mood, please send me a message in Discord. I'll have that. I always have that running in the background. So maybe I'll see you soon, okay? Thanks for stopping by and chiming in as well as you could. All right. From lovely Spaji City, South Korea, I'm Lean Bear. God bless and keep you wherever you are and whatever you may be doing, within reason, of course. Over and out. Over. And where's my button here? Oh, yeah, over and out. Yeah.